Hi, welcome to session 3 of the Small Business Supply Chain tutorials. Today we're going to look at the actual production planning process. So far we've gone through the forecasting process and we've looked at the inputs into the production plan, which is now available in a video to have a look at on the Small Business Supply Chain's website. The template for the production planning is available there for download. Today we're going to look at the actual production planning process. So let's go over to Excel. As I said, so we've got the inputs now into the production plan. We've got the forecast, we've got the cases per shift, we've got the target weeks cover, we've got the OEEs. We've updated our national stock. All of that feeds into the production plan. Now what I have on the production plan is you'll see just one line. In this example I've used all of the products go through one production line. I'm only planning for one process in that production line, which is in this case the extruder. You will have to find the bottleneck in your whole production process and then just plan for that one bottleneck. If you're not sure what the bottleneck is or how to find it, there's a very good book called The Goal by Goldratt. That's a good one to read to give you some inputs into finding the bottleneck. Okay, from there, so what I've done in the past, if there's more than one bottleneck in your production facility and it runs different products, I plan across different lines. So I'll have a sheet for each production line like this one, and yeah, I plan each of those separately. Okay, so good, let's have a look at these. So first thing we'll look at is the capacity. So this is your capacity in that week that you have available. Normally if you look at a shift, it would be an 8-hour shift, and you'd have 5 days available in the week, Monday through to Friday. So in this case I've got 5 shifts on day shift, 5 shifts on the afternoon shift, giving me total of 10 shifts available, which is 80 hours, and it goes on like that. So basically you'll be able to work out how many shifts you're going to need going forward on this production line once you've done this. Okay, so now for each SKU you'll see it's got exactly the same block. So for white chalk A001, this is all the calculations for it. So you start with your opening stock, which feeds through from your national stock spreadsheet. You've got your forecast, comes through from your forecast spreadsheet. The planned production, that's what you're going to put in. You've got a formula that works out what your projected weeks cover is going to be, and you've got your target weeks cover, which comes through from your common data, and you've got your production rate per hour, which comes through from common data. So all of that is used to calculate your projected weeks cover and to calculate your production hours required to make that specific planned production that you've got in there. Okay, so at the beginning of every week, basically what will happen is your production, let's start from the beginning. So we've got, let's take out all of our production plans. So you will basically start with an empty sheet like this, no planned production. I'm just going to do the first few weeks just to give you an idea of what it looks like, how it all works. So let's take all of that out. Normally you would start with your previous production plan for the previous week, and you would take it from there and just update it. Because we're starting from fresh, I'm just going to take all of these out and go through it and you'll see what it looks like. Okay, there we go. Now, it is important to remember that you've still got other parts of the production line as well, which you need to consider. The things like your pre-mixing or your batching typically has specific requirements as well. You probably can't make something that's less than, say, 30 cases because your premix is 60 kilos and you can't make less than 60 kilos. So you need to consider that when you put in your planned production. But those are constraints that you'd know about and you need to consider when you do your actual production plan. Okay, now you'll see there's some conditional formatting in here. As soon as the week's cover drops below my target week's cover, it highlights it, and you know that in that week or before that you get to that week you need to make something. So let's go through all of them firstly and see which is going to be a problem. So you'll see we definitely need to make some of this pink chalk. So let's say we'll make 80 cases of that because I know that's my standard mix size. You'll see as soon as I put in 80 cases, it converts it into production hours. It all adds up into total production hours at the top. I know I've got 80 hours. I've used 38 so far. So I've still got some capacity there. I could go and double that. And I've used 75 hours. And now I've got enough stock. Problem is I've still got some other SKUs that's in trouble as well. Let's go and make that a bit less. We'll make 140 cases there. That will still get us out of trouble there. And we'll make 80 cases there. Now that looks great, but I don't have enough capacity. I can't do both of those. So I'll need to make less somewhere. So it looks like I can afford about 30 cases there. Now you'll see that leaves me in still quite a bit of trouble. There's still a few SKUs that I've got that's below my week's cover that I would like to keep at my safety stock. So the only other thing I could do is either I can say, look guys, I need another shift. Bring in some more workers, we can work night shift, so we'll need up and then to another, I could add another 5 shifts, so it's 15 shifts there, gives me a total of 120 hours now. 120 hours I can now put in some more production. That one's out of trouble, some more there. Now see already that's more than what I can have, that's as much as what I can fit in. So there's the first week fully planned. From there, the only other thing you can really do is then, so Monday and Friday, Monday up to Friday, your normal week is fully utilized. From there you can go and you can add a Saturday, which will give you another 3 shifts, the 18 shifts. If that's not enough, you can add another 3 shifts, which is Sunday, which is 21 shifts. Okay, 168 hours, that's everything you've got now all week. But we're not going to panic yet. We're going to leave it at 15 shifts, because that's what you can easily achieve. We'll leave the next week at 10 shifts, try see what we can do there. So let's make some more. So we've covered all the most critical ones last week. We'll carry on this week with more of these guys. Okay, just like to make a little bit more of that. There we go, so those are out of trouble. So it looks like we're chugging along quite nicely now with the 2 shifts, day shift, afternoon shift. Just keep playing around with the numbers, see what we can do. Now, it's interesting, you will see 80 hours, this is something to note, it's really important. So 80 cases of the white chalk relates to 18 hours, 80 cases of the yellow chalk will give you 38 hours. And that links back to your production rate. So white chalk, you can make 4.5 cases per hour. Red chalk, you can only make 2.13. Sorry, the yellow chalk, you can only make 2.13 cases per hour. So it's really important that you get your data that you put into the spreadsheet, you get that as good as you possibly can. So it makes a big difference. You'll be able to refine that data as you go along, make sure that everything makes sense. Okay, it's a bit of jiggling sometimes to get the exact amounts. Now, you might not be able to make 33 cases. So when you go into your detailed planning, you might mix both of those together and keep running from red to red in that week. So just take all those kind of things into consideration when you do your planning as well. It's getting pretty tight on your 2-shift production plan here. Barely getting around to making everything you need. You see, the benefit of this is we're already now 4 weeks out. You know that you're going to be okay with your 2-shift production for at least the next 3 weeks after this week where you need to catch up a bit. And basically, as you go along, you're planning your capacity, you know how many shifts you're going to need, you know how many workers you're going to have to employ, what kind of hours you're going to have to run. Another way to run these will be to get everyone to work 50% overtime, go from 2 shifts to 3 shifts in effect, but you're running only 2 shifts of 12 hours each. That'll cost you quite a bit because of all the overtime. If it's only going to be a short period, it's probably worth just doing that instead of employing people and training them up from scratch. Okay, that is the production planning process from scratch. Now, the only difference going from that into your actual weekly planning process is I've put in a macro that will actually roll the week over for you. So week 4 will disappear, it will move forward, it will become week 5, your planned production, your forecast, everything will move on 1 week, and basically you're not starting from scratch every week. You're just seeing that the main changes that you will see is your opening stock. So make sure you put that in fresh from that week, so that you start from the correct point. And then also your forecast will change occasionally as well. It's probably a good idea to look at your forecast at least once a month, refresh your forecast, add another 4 weeks onto it, make sure it all makes sense, review any of the latest trends, put all of that in, and then you've got your best forecast, you've got your opening stock, and you can recalculate your production plan from week 5 onwards then. Last step from there, so big power of this spreadsheet is it gives you your view going forward. So this is what's typically called your master production schedule. It gives you your capacity requirement going forward 52 weeks, allow you to plan for your workers. It allows you to plan for your machine capacities. If you get, like we saw earlier, you get up to that 21 shifts, you have to run that continuously. You're going to have a look at buying more equipment. So this will give you that early warning You'll know that you need to buy something 52 weeks out. You'll know you're getting into trouble. You need to start planning purchases and installation and commissioning of equipment. Okay, from here, the next thing we want to draft with this production schedule is your material planning. So from there, I've got it linked through this copy to MRP. This works exactly the same like the forecast did. So you're just going to select this and copy it now into your MRP planning spreadsheet. We'll go into that some more next time round. I hope you've enjoyed this session. It's a bit to take in there. Any questions, please let me know. It's always great to hear from you guys. No worries, take care. Bye.